Have you ever heard from insurance companies that they are losing money? Usually because of all the weather events and contractors' greed and 500 other reasons. So today we're talking about that. Have Florida insurance companies been lying about their profits? A new report could expose where and how the money is hidden. Welcome back to the best roofing news channel on YouTube. This week we have a major story. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video to help others people find it. If you have a story idea, send it to sydney@roofinginsights.com. Now let's get to the story.
Insurance.
For years, Florida insurance companies have been saying they are not profitable. They have blamed hurricanes, fraud, and legal abuse for massive premium increases. Now, an unpublished government report is challenging all of that. It was written in 2022, but never released to the public or to Congress. After years of asking, reporters finally got their hands on part of it. The study was commissioned by the Florida Department of Insurance. It looked at insurance profits from 2017 to 2019. Here's what it found. Carriers diverted $680 million to shareholders and transferred billions to affiliate companies. Executives were removing so much money from their companies that they violated state laws. In Florida, insurance profits are capped at 4.5%. All of this left some insurers unstable and potentially unable to pay claims. In other words, it could be financial mismanagement and greed that are driving up insurance rates. To break all of this down, I called an expert to discuss, but before we get to the interview, I want to thank RainDrop gutter guards for continued support of our channel. It takes a lot of money to provide free content to you guys. We couldn't make it without our sponsors. If you have seen my reviews, you know I love this product. RainDrop gutter guards are easy to install. They sit at an angle so leaves and sticks will slide right off. The design blends in with any roof line, and the black color help melt ice and snow in wintertime. Cool for up north. What I really love about RainDrop is the durability. These are truly made to be long-term, low-maintenance product. I recommend RainDrop gutter guards for any homeowner or roofer. Go to the link in the description below to get yours. Doug Quinn is the founder of the APA and a policyholder advocate. I asked him to explain where all the insurance money is going.
The basic flow is this. At the very top, you have the ownership, which is generally an investor group, hedge fund, private equity fund. Oftentimes they're anchored offshore in the Cayman Islands or Bermuda, the two biggest tax shelters in the world. They own a holding company. That holding company will own the insurance company and a series of other companies. Now, the insurance company is what generates all of the cash flow, but you don't want to leave the money in the company. Number one, Florida has profit caps. They're only allowed to make 4.5%, which I personally don't feel that's reasonable. Maybe that's part of the problem. Above and beyond that, there's a lot of regulatory eyes and there's a lot of requirements for reporting that are watching these insurance companies. And by the way, a big storm could come in and wipe out all of their profits tomorrow. So what they're doing is they're hiring the other affiliates that are owned by the same holding company. There's a managing general agency. Sometimes they'll take 30% or more of every single premium dollar. They'll transfer money by hiring these affiliates, and then it goes up to the holding company and up to the ownership. So this particular report only covers that bottom layer of transfers between the insurance company to the affiliates. So we really don't know what's going on.
The big question is, how is it legal?
You can have all of the laws and all of the regulations in the world, and if you're not enforcing them, they are useless. And Florida, when it comes to the insurance industry, does not effectively enforce regulations and laws. We turn criminal cases over to their Division of Financial Services that a 4-year-old could figure out, and they bury the cases. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation will say that they need some legal authorization to follow the money. And that's what we say to them routinely. The APA has been saying this for years. Follow the money. The Florida Office of Insurance Regulation is saying, well, we don't have the ability to follow the money. We don't have the legal authorization to follow it up.
Florida State Congress is holding hearings about this report, but Doug isn't convinced it will lead to big changes. I asked him, if Florida won't investigate, could the feds do it?
You know, the APA, when we turn over one of our criminal cases, we will often send it to the U.S. attorney who represents the Department of Justice. Their investigative arm is the FBI. It would be great if they would pick it up because people don't like to lie to the FBI. And they have the ability to handle white-collar crimes to the extent that other entities do not. The federal government generally begs off of that. They will not go after insurance as a rule because of the McCarran-Ferguson Act that says that insurance is generally regulated and enforced on a state level. So a common thing I'll hear from people on the federal level is, well, did you talk to the insurance commissioner?
There's still a lot we don't know about the report, and at the same time, some of this isn't new. According to the Miami Herald, profit transfers have caused Florida insurance companies to fail in the past. Affiliate relationships were the third leading cause of insolvencies nationwide between 2000 and 2022. I asked Doug to put it all in context. How big of a deal is this report, and what does it mean for Florida?
I think this will turn out to be one of the biggest scandals in Florida insurance history in anybody's recent memory. This is the fact that it's going on is one thing. The fact that the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation had this information and buried it is a huge concern. The Florida legislature voted to take away people's rights to recover their legal fees if they are forced to sue their insurance company and the insurance company is found guilty of cheating them for I think over 100 years in Florida, you had the ability to recover those legal fees. And they took that away on this false myth that the Florida insurance crisis was caused by roofing fraud, caused by frivolous litigation. These companies are losing money. They're begging for premium increases. Premiums have doubled or tripled in Florida. And the very fact that the Florida Office of Insurance Regulation was sitting on this information and did not turn it over to the regulators, did not turn it over to the legislature, did not turn it over to the people who paid for this. This was funded by something like $150,000 of taxpayer money, and neither the people nor their elected officials were given this information before they had very, very important rights taken away from them.
I know this is a big topic, and I really want to have a conversation with all my contractors out there. I know it's very easy to point fingers at insurance companies or lawyers or wherever we think the problem is. I often ask myself, what would I do in that situation? I've never run an insurance company, and I would argue that roofers, if they would be in a position of insurance companies, oftentimes would do probably even worse things. You know, a lot of roofers, especially storm chasers, are not known to have high standards, are not known to have integrity in the business. They do bill insurance companies for things they didn't do. They do file claims they shouldn't be filed. So if you really want to change the industry, you should do what's right every single day. You don't get to talk about others if you don't do it yourself. If you don't pay your bills, you don't get to call out other people. If you commit fraud on a regular basis, you don't get to point fingers to someone else who commits fraud. That's just hypocrisy. So comment below what you think about the whole story. Do you think, roofers and lawyers in Florida actually guilty of the situation as well? Because I've been in Florida many, many times, and I've seen the claims. I've seen $10,000 roofs being built at for $80,000, $100,000. Why? Because lawyers have their cuts, and public adjusters have their cuts, and at the end of the day, we all took advantage of the situation. Is it right? Absolutely not. I think everybody's guilty. But in my opinion, the way we change this industry is we start within. We start with us. And I see that. I see so many good roofing companies doing what's right. But the loud ones, the biggest players, the loud mouth ones, are the ones who scream the most. They actually sometimes even greedier. So when I look at some nasty storm chasers who don't pay their sales reps, who disrespect homeowners, who take advantage of a legal system, those people should not take vote in this situation, in this debate. That's just my opinion. Because if you contribute to this problem, if you part of this crisis, you will never fix it. The only people who can fix it is people with the high standards who do everything right. Otherwise, you will be compromised. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you will compromise. They'll call you out. They'll find how to shut you down. That's how the system works. Comment below, what do you think about insurance industry, storm restoration industry in 2025? Where are we heading? Do you think we'll fix it? Do you think insurance companies will be exposed and start paying? Because there is a lot of money. If you look at billions and billions that they collect, they should be paying way more than they have been paying. But at the same rate, they're also the biggest buyer of roofing in general. Like, nobody buys more roofs than insurance companies. So they're doing a lot of things right, and we have to give credit where it belongs. But at the same time, we have to do what's right on our end. Because when we don't, they'll find a way to combat us. And they cannot combat us if they're evil and we're good. But if we're both evil, sooner or later, we'll just kill each other one way or another. And we both will hurt. So let's change our ways, and we will know how to change their ways. Comment below what you think. I'll see you guys in the next video.